I'm Chris Burrows. I'm a grad student here at ASU, and I am the author of Gifted and Drafted. Gifted and Drafted is a book that I started writing in April 2014. I had it published in January 2015 through a publishing company owned by Amazon. The story is about a set of siblings who grew up with superpowers, and they grow up believing that they can't tell anybody about their superpowers because they have difficulty talking to people about them. They then one day come home and find out that a city is under attack by a terrorist organization who also have superpowers. And they then find out that their father worked for a secret organization who specialized with people with superpowers. And they are entered into a draft at the organization to see if they can make it on a response team to counter the terrorism. The protagonist's name is Jackson. He's college-aged, a very complex character. He's very conscientious. He tries to do the right thing. He's always concerned about everyone else. He's very sensitive to the needs of others. And he's very selfless. I think those are great qualities of a hero. And he's also gay. I grew up reading comic books from a very young age. I was always fascinated with superheroes. They were my favorite. I always noticed though that there weren't very many gay superheroes growing up. I always felt kind of alienated. Like there isn't anyone like me in comics. So one day I was jogging and a sort of image fell into my mind, and I started to think of a story about it because it was just a wonderful image. And then the idea of superheroes popped into my mind, and I was like, okay, I could do this. I could write a story about it. The image I got in my head when I was jogging was two men in the air, and they were embracing. And I thought to myself, how did they get up there? And I started to think, and I was like, superpowers, of course, they can fly. And I just took it from there. As far as character development goes, it's slightly autobiographical in the sense that I drew upon a lot of the relationships I have with people. A lot of my friends, I was inspired by their personalities, and that's how I started to write and develop the characters in the story. As far as challenges go, there weren't too many external ones. Obviously, the writing process is very long and very emotionally and physically draining. You stay up long hours, you read the same thing like 50 times. But other than that, I didn't have too many issues as far as getting it out there. The main obstacles were personal. I'm very self-conscious about my writing, so that was a factor. It took a lot of friends who read the manuscript and a lot of people who edited the manuscript who fell in love with the characters to persuade me to get it out there. One of the biggest struggles, and even one that I haven't confronted yet, is my family. They're incredibly conservative and very traditional in the sense that they oppose homosexuality, and the book is written from the perspective of a character who happens to be gay, and I can't imagine them accepting this work or accepting my expression in the book, and I think that's something that's going to be difficult. There's a gay blogger who posted about my book, and a bunch of people in America have read it already, and somebody actually reached out to me and told me that he was dealing with bullying, and that's something that the protagonist deals with or has dealt with in his past, and he said he connected so much with the character, and I was just so taken with how much it affected somebody. And I think that's very positive and very encouraging as a writer to know that something you created resonates so well with people. I actually have started writing the second book in the series. It picks up right where the first one ends, so I'm really excited about it. And I have plans to make it into a trilogy. There are also other things that I'm considering writing, just ideas that I've written down in a journal that I think would make great stories. I challenge a lot of norms. In my story, I inverted a lot of the gender binaries. I gave characters who are women traits that are expected of men and vice versa. And I think the effect was really wonderful. I think those characters embraced the audience further than characters who I didn't invert those traits. I have an incredibly diverse cast of characters. There are characters of different ethnicities, different parts of the world, and I purposefully did that because though comics are becoming more and more diverse, I didn't grow up with that diversity, and I realized that at such a young age, and I wanted to be as inclusive as possible when I wrote. I wanted almost any reader who picks up the book to be able to find somebody to identify with. Any advice I'd have for a young reader? I would say keep on writing. I know it's the most recycled piece of advice, but it really is true. Just if you have a story that you're passionate about, keep writing. You're going to need to edit so many times, but if you can just push through it and you believe in your story, others will too.